The death toll from the virus outbreak crossed the mark of 1,000 people, with the mortality rate in China estimated at 1%. Meanwhile, Hong Kong has started implementing quarantine for affected people as well. Rosalind Chin of Bloomberg joins us right now with the latest. Rosalind, are there any signs of the outbreak peaking out? What are health officials saying? What else are you gathering?
Yes, well, we did actually in Hong Kong just have a press briefing from Carrie Lam, the chief executive here. There have been more cases in Hong Kong, so we are seeing, of course, the number of cases still increasing, although the rate of increase does seem to be slowing a little bit. And as you mentioned, there is the death toll has now passed that 1,000 mark threshold. It is the death toll globally, at least, is at 1,018. Two of those deaths outside of China. The rest, of course, mostly in the province of Hubei, which is where Wuhan is based. But we've also got 43,098 globally confirmed cases. The number of cases around the world does also seem to be increasing. Those people who are on cruise ships where they've been affected, of course, are particularly worried, as there has been a cruise ship in Japan where the numbers of those with coronavirus is increasing almost daily there, because of the close surroundings that they're in. So here in Hong Kong, we did have 2 cases here because there were 2 people in a block of public apartments that were found to have confirmed cases, and they've now actually evacuated that block of apartments on a precautionary measure, according to authorities here. So there is still a heightened level of alert. Carrie Lam in her press conference actually did say, she urged once again for people to lower or to avoid social contact, to avoid passing on this illness if you are one to be carrying it. Now, you did mention the mortality rate. This is a new study that has been released by Imperial College in London, saying that if they account for the more severe cases as well as for the milder cases, then perhaps the mortality rate will be actually closer to 1%, and that, of course, would be a lot less worrying, than the current number, which is actually still not that high compared to some of the other severe illnesses that have emerged in the previous years. For example, SARS, which was a much higher percentage of fatalities. Actually, coronavirus is something like 2% or less than 2%, and it could fall further to about 1%, according to this new study. In places like China, there are some factories going back to work, though, even though there has been a shutdown. Some automakers, for example, are reopening their plants. So we have had the likes of Ford and Tesla reopening some of their plants in China. Other automakers taking a more gradual approach. For example, Mitsubishi slowly reopening some of its different facilities around the country, perhaps by February the 17th, and also some of the others like Hyundai, which have closed their factories outside of China, starting to return because they had a part shortage. They are starting to return back to opening some of their facilities as well. Finally, we've also recently, in the last 15 minutes or so, heard from Singapore saying that they're expecting their tourism to take a hit of about 25 to 30% in terms of tourists visiting Singapore this year. Now, Singapore gets about 20% of its visitors from China, so that, of course, would be a very big hit for them, and, of course, we could see further along the line it impacting, of course, the economic growth for the nation overall for the year. And that is a similar situation that many Asian countries here, including Singapore, including Hong Kong and China, will be looking at. Back to you.
Unfortunate as it is. Rosalind, thanks so much for giving us the latest updates on the coronavirus.